Hello, my name is Jake.
I'm Jack.
I'm Shannon.
Michael.
We did our presentation on street art, a counterculture community. A little bit of background on the topic. We wanted to start our presentation with a quote from Banksy, a high-profile and very well-known street artist. The quote is, "Think outside the box, collapse the box, and take a fucking sharp knife to it." Some of the themes that we found in street art itself were ethics and consumerism, pop iconography as a reflection of societal untruths, and reinterpretation of classical art. Additionally, some common traits to be found in the art itself were modernist themes, youth, and loud and vibrant colors. Methods. We went to lab art, which is Los Angeles-based art, which the entire point of the gallery is that it finds artists on the street artists. It finds their art that they find that the gallery sees as valuable either with its message or with its artistic value, finds the artist from that piece, and then gives them a professional opportunity to create art to be sold at their gallery, so that the artist may live off of their art. And then our procedure. We went as a group during spring break, and we wanted to gain a full, complete experience. And so what we decided to do is we would all go in 4 separate directions. The gallery itself is very big. There's a lot of different pieces, so there's a lot that we had to absorb individually. And so what we did is we all went in 4 different directions, and we all came back with different things that we noticed, because art, as you may know, is very, very subjective. And our results came in the form of our 3 themes: ethics and consumerism, pop iconography as a reflection of societal untruths, and reinterpretation of historical art.
The first theme we found was ethics in consumerism. This was dominant throughout the gallery, and it was expressed through popular icons such as the Monopoly Man, brands for clothing and bags such as Louis Vuitton, and mass-distributed food such as Campbell's soup. The Monopoly Man is an obvious symbol of consumerism, and as you can see here, here's one of the paintings, and he symbolizes Wall Street and the 1% of America that manipulates the market to get the most gain out of it. Louis Vuitton is a worldwide brand that is very expensive and symbolizes America's need for the obvious brands and popular purses and clothing. Campbell's soup, it's one of the largest distributed food products, and there were many paintings and sculptures that said, "Fuck your chicken noodle soup," and it kind of shows that street artists aren't appreciative of the 1% trying to mass distribute food rather than making organic, healthy food. The quote we used for consumerism is, "The greatest crimes in the world are not committed by people breaking the rules, but by people following the rules," by Banksy in 2005. And we interpreted this as saying that it's not really illegal to have a monopoly or manipulate the market, but it's certainly unethical, which brings us to our next slide. Ethics as a theme. The immorality of American greed. A lot of the paintings demonstrated that greed is a bad thing, such as this painting of Mickey Mouse, one of the largest distributors of media in the world, and it's one of the most profitable companies in the world. And as you can see, street art and vandalism is surrounding him, showing that they disapprove of the corporation. And the worship of things. So, as all of these paintings suggest, street artists disapprove of the America's obsession with things. And one kind of interesting point that I'd like to make is that the gallery we went to was selling all the paintings, which is kind of ironic because they're protesting the obsession with buying and purchasing of goods, yet they're selling these paintings for hundreds of dollars, so it's kind of interesting.
Next slide is pop iconography as a reflection of societal untruths. So with many of these paintings in the gallery, we saw that there was a bunch of well-known icons, and they were works to show what the artist thought these icons became in society. So what we have over here is Jesus holding a unicorn. In most of the paintings where Jesus is holding an animal, he's holding a lamb to symbolize lamb as like him saving humanity. But in this, he's holding a purple unicorn with a rainbow horn. So in mythology, unicorns are supposed to be perfect and beautiful and healing. Same with Christianity and Jesus. He turned water into wine, healed a blind man's eyes. So he too, Son of God, is perfect. So what the artist, I thought, what my interpretation was is the Jesus and the unicorn are both too perfect to be real, hence religion or Christianity is too perfect to be real. The second painting was the icon of the dove. It's a icon of love and peace, and then the icon of the bomb is, of course, war and violence. So basically, my interpretation was, or our interpretation was, the effort for peace turns into a war effort, as seen through a lot of America's like tries for peace over in the Middle East and elsewhere. It usually turns into a bloodbath. So next slide. Okay, simulacra. Simulacra is basically another word for symbolism. Is taking images and putting them into a different medium. So it also ties in with pop art. Pop art and street art is rampant. So pop art iconography is based on an imagery taken from popular culture and transformed by the world of mass media. This was said by David Channel in 1983. So over here, we have this painting that was located in the back of the museum. And it's showing images of popular icons that have been, their meanings have been warped by society. So the Monopoly Man is now known for greed, but he wasn't originally a symbol of greed, he was just a game board character. And then Jack Nicholson with his Joker makeup. It's with each of his characters in each of his movies, he's always had this similar acting style where he's shown a little bit of insanity. So Jack Nicholson is, by society and by the work that he's done, associated with insanity. And then Robert De Niro and his character from Taxi Driver. He, in the movie, was not a self-proclaimed anarchist, but by society, he was made into a symbol for anarchy. So each of these are all tied together with their societal roles.
As you can see, there's a lot of symbolism within street art, pop icons, and corporate mascots. But another thing that we found is that the street artists used a lot of historical art and very well recognizable historical art. And the way they do this art is in the context of vandalism. A quote from an essay is, the addictive rushes previously gained from engagement in illegal high-risk acts of graffiti tagging, they claim, morphs into an obsessive desire for obtaining community respect. So it's about obtaining community respect, and with obtaining community respect, there's a sense that one needs to do a piece of art that carries with it a strong statement. And one of the reasons why historical art is used, that we found, is that it's easily recognizable and you don't have to spend a lot of time on the craft of art making or painting per se. And this is also very well related to ethos, or how the art is shown or created and projected. So in a lot of these works that did have art, historical art. There was crude and loud artistry. There was things that would sort of make you question the integrity of the piece. And this is all done to create a larger reaction. And to think about it realistically, these street artists only have such a small amount of time to create their work, and it's a criminal activity, so they need to be able to do it quick. It needs to be simple, and it needs to be very hard-hitting and very easily hard-hitting too. So that's part of the reason why historical art is used, because it's well known. An example would be Banksy, who took an image of the Mona Lisa, and it's her holding onto an RPG. So it's like, once you take a glance at it and you already have some sort of pre-existing notion of what you're looking at. It's very almost tertiary in that regard.
All right, in conclusion, we wanted to end our presentation with a little bit of a quote that explains a little bit more about what street art means to the art scene and the artists themselves. Quote, "Post-historical art rejected the distinction between art and everyday, between high and low art, by bringing the everyday into the art world." Essentially what street art is the bringing of the everyday lives and ideals of the street artist into the art. The artists themselves use their art as a vessel for satire and culture, countercultural ideals, things that they see as immoral and corrupt. That's what this art is. That's what the reasoning behind creating this art comes from. It's all fueled by counterculture. So, as our call to action as a group to our audience, we wanted you, as intelligent and observant members of society and human beings, to kind of look at the world you live in the same way that a street artist would. To look at it at your environment and see the societal untruths and the corrupt ethics of the world around you.